Hey friends, how you all doing? Hope you all are doing well. My name is Jesse Hughes, and I'm happy that you all have taken out of your schedule, of your time to come and watch another video. Watch me as I say something that hopefully I can encourage you, hopefully I can enlighten and strengthen you, hopefully I can build you all up, because it's all about encouraging, all about strengthening and building each other up. It's not about our own personal feelings all the time, but it's about encouraging one another, edifying one another. So hopefully I can say something that will encourage and edify you all. I'm thinking about a wristband that they created about 10 years ago, and on that wristband it says WWJD, and it was really meaning, what would Jesus do? What, and if you put ourselves in that situation, if we was doing this or we was doing that, what would Jesus do if he was in that situation, or he was in that type of predicament? What would he do? So we was trying to make sure that our actions lined up with the actions of Jesus Christ. And I'm thinking about that as it pertains to something that happened over the last 24 hours, that pertains to a situation that happened at the Oscars award. And I put myself as in the sense of, what would Jesse do? Now, I'm not saying that I'm God, because I'm nowhere near God. But I'm saying that, what would I do if the situation would have been me? If this person was talking about my wife, if this person was talking about my kids, if this person was making my wife feel uneasy or making her feel less than a woman, what would I have done? I pretty much know how I would have handled the situation, what would I have done. But I don't know if I would have taken it to the magnitude that it was taken, but I know something would have been done, because it is our responsibility as husbands, is our responsibilities as wives, is our responsibilities as kids to make sure that our house is protected. And when I mean by protecting, I'm not talking about the four walls that is built with brick and mortar. I'm not talking about the ceilings and rafters and the wood, but I'm talking about the house in the sense of what our house, either as a mother, as a father, as a sister, as a brother, as protecting that house, because that house is really important as it pertains to God, because we have to get to the point where nothing else in this world means more to us than our family. And what I mean by our family, some of us are not married, some of us have been separated, some of us are divorced, but we still have a responsibility to the people that is coming along behind us, as far as it pertains to our kids, as far as it pertains to our wives, our husbands, as it pertains to the community. We got to make sure that we protect what's ours. And if that situation would have happened to me like it happened the other night, the previous night, what would I have done? Because my personality, my character is of such that I'm going to protect what's mine. I'm going to protect my spouse. I'm going to protect my kids. I'm going to protect people that is less fortunate as me, that cannot protect themselves like I can. So my responsibility is always to protect that person. I remember one time when my son was going through a certain issue, and he told Daddy, he said, "Daddy, I'm battling this. I'm feeling this type of way. I'm depressed. I'm feeling like taking my life. I'm feeling like that this should not have never happened." And he told certain people that was connected to him how he was feeling. And I was kind of upset about it. I was kind of hurt, because my son was at the time 10 years old, and he was dealing with depression. He was dealing with taking his life. He was dealing with, even going and doing some crazy things as far as hurting people. And I said, God, you've got to make sure that I'm doing the right thing to protect my son, to protect, my family. And I remember I saw this certain person at a certain merchant place, and I told this guy, right now, I appreciate it if you stay away from my home. I appreciate if you stay away from my family. I appreciate if you stay away from certain people that's connected to my son, because my son is dealing with this. My son is talking about killing himself. And he was like, he poo-pooed at the situation, like it's not my responsibility how your son feels. And he went on, and he began to, I got kind of adamant about it, because my son is more important to me. The people that is connected to my son is more important to me than your own pleasure, your own trying to get what you can get out of the situation. So as the day went on, the guy left the situation. I told him I appreciate it, that you stay away from my family. And this guy went to the authorities and he said that I was harassing him and stuff like that. But I was thinking, I say, if we don't stand up for what we believe in, what shall we do? If we don't stand up for protecting our kids, we don't stand up for protecting our spouse in a time of degrading and in a time of them going through certain emotional issues, them going through certain spiritual, them going through certain physical issues, what do they have to look forward to? It is our responsibilities as husbands, it's our responsibilities as fathers, it's our responsibilities as kids, as wives, to stand up for what is more important to us. Now that's why we should not get to the point where our feelings, our emotions, our desires is more important than our kids, more important than our husbands, our wife, because our desires will lead us into a crazy place. But we've got to make sure that we've got to protect our family. We've got to protect things that is important to us. And that's what it's all about. It's about us standing up for what we believe it is right. It is standing up for our everything that we believe in. If we believe that God said we should do a certain way, we should stand up for that. If we say that God believes that we should, be a provider and that we should be a protector, we should be a comforter, it is our responsibility to stand up for what we believe in, because there's coming a day when we won't stand up for nothing. For if we don't stand up for what we believe in, we will fall for anything. We will fall in what people says about us. We will fall into how we feel just to please other people. But if we've got to have a sense of gauge, we've got to have a sense of, I believe in this and I'm going to stand up on this. I believe that I should protect this and I'm going to stand up on that. We can never get to the point where it's all about pleasing people, but we've got to understand that the responsibility of the family is more important than anything. So we have to protect our family when it comes to our own feelings, when it comes to our own ideas. We've got to make sure that our family is protected. Because the Bible says when it comes to kids, he says, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart. It is important and imperative that we as parents, we as husbands, and we as wives got to train up our kids in the way that he should go. We should not give them everything that they want, but we should make sure that they have what they need. They have food, they have clothes, they have shelter, they have a loving home to come home to. We got to make sure that we as parents to stand up for those kids when it comes to everything, because these kids is facing a lot of different peer pressure. They're facing a lot of different temptations in the school system. They're facing a lot of temptations in the community. And we as parents have to make sure that our kids is protected. We've got to make sure that when they come home, they're being fed properly. And I'm not talking about the red beans and rice and the spaghettis and meatballs, but we got to make sure that they're protected and fed properly as it pertains to how are your day doing? How are you doing today? How is school? We got to make sure that our kids is not being emotionally scarred by our own personal situation, but we got to make sure that our kids is protected even in the midst when they come home and somebody talked about them the wrong way, when somebody put down on them the wrong way. We got to make sure that our kids is protected even to the sense of, I'm here for you. I'm here to listen to your problem. I'm here to listen to your situations. And when we get to that point where we've got to protect our home, forget everything else. Forget our own personal feelings where I got to go out and I got to do this, I got to do that. Our kids should be our main responsibility. The family should be the main responsibility after God. After God, it should be the family. After God, it should be the husband, the wife, the kids. After God, it got to be our family, because if we sit back and let the devil come in to destroy our family, where will we go then? Well, we've got to make sure our kids are right. We got to make sure our husbands are right. We got to make sure our wives are right. And we got to make sure that they're protected, because if they're not protected, what would happen to that family? That family will be destroyed because we have allowed certain things to destroy the family from the outside inside. There was an old African proverb that talks about, the family situation. And it says that it always talks about the family home is built from the inside out. We should never let something outside destroy the family. We should not let anything outside destroy the mentality of the kids. We should not let anything outside of the family destroy the love that the husband has for the wife. But we've got to make sure that everything is taken in its proper context. And not only that, we got to make sure that our lives line up with God. And not only our lives line up with God, we got to make sure that our family is protected, even in the sense of, even if that person don't like me, even if that person feels a certain way about my husband or talks about my wife the wrong way, I'm going to make sure that they're protected. I'm going to make sure that my kids is protected. I'm going to make sure that when they go to the school system, that they know that they are loved in the home. They're not dealing with depression. They're not dealing with, peer pressure. They're not dealing with a lot of different issues. But when you have love in that home, when you have protection in that home, when you have security in that home, everything else will fall in line. Everything else will be kind of in the sense of none effect to them, because they see that their father loves them. Their father care for them. Their father is about protecting them. Their mother loves them. Their mother's trying to train them up right in the way that they go. But we've got to make sure that we as people, as parents, we've got to make sure that our kids is our number one responsibilities, is to love the husband, to love the wife, is to protect the kids no matter what, because the kids are having so many things that are going on. The boys is having to deal with drugs. The boys are having to deal with premarital sex. The girls having to deal with premarital sex. The boys have to worry about being in a gang banging and shooting and robbing and stealing. But we've got to make sure that our family is taken care of. Our family is built up on a sure foundation, and that foundation is in Jesus Christ and Him alone. We've got to make sure that our family is of great importance to us, because if we let our family go, if we all about the dollar and not governing and training up our children right, then the devil will come in and take our kids. Why? Because we're not training them in the proper way that they should go. For when they get old, they would not depart. But if they're not being trained right, if they're not being led right, then they will be subject to the devil. They will be subject to the defeats of the devil. But we've got to make sure that we as a family, as a husband, as a wife, as a close-knit family, that we are doing the right things. And we're not only doing the right things, we're making sure that our family is strong and secure and provided and protected. Because if we protect our family, we protect our house, we protect our husband and wives and our kids, that there's no weapon that will be formed against us will be able to prosper, because we have what God has promised us. God has promised the family protection, and has promised the family a sense of stability. So I hope that you all was encouraged by what I say. But we've got to, as people, as parents, to protect our family. We got to protect our kids. We got to protect our spouse, because if we don't protect them, that the enemy will come in and destroy our home from the outside in. But we've got to make sure that our family is protected. And not only our family is protected, we've got to make sure that God is in that family. Because when God is in that family, everything else will be okay. But we've got to make sure that everybody, that we love God, we love people, and we protect our house. So until this time next time, if I said anything that you was encouraged by, if I said anything that was inspiring to you, I hope that you all just give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a comment, and say that Jesse, we will protect our families to the point of no matter what, we will protect our family. So subscribe to what I'm saying, and until this time next time, I want to say God bless you, and God bless you.